PJ Haggerty has withdrawn from the NBA draft and, more importantly, committed to Kansas State. This had been the rumored destination in the last couple of days, but even as little as 48 hours ago, there seemed to be at least some disputed reports on that. You had some NC State people and sources saying that they were still involved. You had speculation maybe he would try and scramble his way back to Memphis. Even in the final hours before this decision, PJ Haggerty himself was posting pictures of him with Penny Hardaway on his social media. So I don't really know exactly how we got here, other than I would venture to guess this. Kansas State is one of the only schools, maybe the only school remaining that was willing to give him at least $2.5 million to play basketball next season. And PJ may have fumbled the bag in the process before ending up in Kansas State's arms. Here, what's your reaction to this move from both PJ's perspective and Kansas State's?
Well, it's funny because I think if we went back to the first PJ Haggerty in the portal video, there was some slight joke made about how this all ends up with him just playing for Jerome Tang. I think we have a certain amount of players that we kind of put into that category, and it ended up getting to that point. And honestly, it just makes sense. I think it makes sense. I think Haggerty's able to get the role he wants. He's able to get the money he wants, and even basketball fit wise. Now I know that Jerome Tang didn't necessarily do the greatest this past season, right? But he has had success with transfer point guards. I'm even going back to I thought he was really good when I think it was Tyler Perry, the transfer from North Texas. He was really good. Marquise Noel ended up being very good there. Like there has been some transfer success stories for Jerome Tang, especially at the guard spot. And you know what? Like, is it going to lead to team success? Honestly, probably not. But the fit, I think, actually makes sense. Like, it's just, I feel like Haggerty and Tang just ended up being, they did a little sweet, cute little dance here, a little like 20v1, little pop the balloon. But it ended up at the same point that it probably should be, and that's PJ Haggerty, playing for Kansas State.
I mean, I think the fit makes sense situationally from like who PJ has become and how he handled himself in this process,
Mhm.
and Jerome Tang being a coach that just waits until the end of the cycle and holds on to all his money and then overpays for players. But the weird part is I don't even think this is an overpay. I would argue that this is actually like good value for the best shooting guard in the country for Kansas State. I just think like Kansas State got to this conclusion like as stupidly as possible. Like they're like the Dallas Mavericks here. They like did everything wrong and got rewarded for it and ended up with PJ Haggerty. It's weird. I don't know. I don't like the fit nearly as much as you do. Maybe you can talk me into it by the end of the video. But I understand what you're
Well,
saying
oh,
about the fit.
well, I don't. The thing is, I don't like the fit. I'm at the process where there a really good fit for PJ Haggerty.
Yes, there were multiple. And they weren't necessarily explored options, but I would have loved to see him end up in Tahad Pettiford's backfill spot at Auburn. I would have loved to see him in the Des Claude rumored role at Alabama. Like, just go play for a good coach at a winning program that will put the ball in your hands and have you be the star guard. He seemingly never got serious consideration for that because of how his camp handled things here, which is I think sad, honestly. And look, it could work. We have seen Jerome Tang, as you mentioned, win games. They went to an Elite Eight with Marquise Noel and Keontae Johnson. Hopefully, this gets back to it. And hopefully, quite frankly, it changes the narrative on Jerome Tang. Because right now, Tang has gone in 2 quick years from like the hottest upcoming coach to like a laughing stock. And I look, it's tough, man. Haggerty's good, no doubt about it. But he does come with some extra stuff. We know that. Some baggage just with how this happened. Jerome Tang's got to stop playing in those circles, right? He's never going to dig his way out of this hole that he's built for himself by like doubling and tripling down on the guys who just want money with other questions, you know? That's what killed them last year, and here we are again.
Well, that's his fastball, though.
Well, it's not good.
So it lost a little velocity, but it's his pitch.
It is his pitch. And this is, I mean, as far as his pitches go, this is the best pitch he's thrown in years.
Yeah, probably. The one thing I will say though, as far as like the schools you brought up being a possible fit, um, it just like you point out Alabama. Would he wants to be the point guard? Is he the point guard on that team?
I mean, I think he would be, but
Yeah, I
again,
don't
I
know.
think
I'm
Alabama's
just
guards stink.
trying to get to because PJ Haggerty is such a good player. Like he really is. He's one of the better guards in the portal. He's one of the best guards in the country. This is an all-American level player. And I don't know what it is. I just can't like I can't get there.
I think I know what it is, which speaks to part of why I think teams weren't serious about him ever at any point in this. He was one of the most obvious, there's a right decision here, guys, and he never considered the right decision. Do you know what I'm saying the right decision for him would have been?
Like stay at Memphis.
Go back to Memphis. They gave
Yeah.
you $3 million. Like, and if you want to talk about a perfect fit, Cart, is there a better perfect fit for the way PJ Haggerty wants to play than exactly how they used him last year?
Yeah, well, that's where I was kind of coming from, where I just didn't see like he had the situation, he had
Right.
the ball, he had everything, he had the money, he had the coach who did this, like he had it, it was right there,
Right.
and he's like, I no, I mean, call it greed, call it whatever you want, but greed always leads back to Manhattan, Kansas, and Jerome Tang. It seems like.
It sounds like his dad played a big role in this. I want to shout out John Martin, who's a friend of ours, and he wrote for the Daily Memphian, I believe, a big article that was basically an opinion piece, but laid out a lot of facts. And it was framed very much as like, in the end, it's abundantly clear PJ Haggerty should have stayed at Memphis and made a mistake. And he's right. Like 100% he's right. PJ Haggerty took less money than Memphis offered him to go to a worse situation for him.
Yeah.
It's just, and I guarantee PJ and his camp would agree at this point. Now, again, we talked about this on a different video. If Memphis is the side that decided to close the door on this, I think that's a mistake too. Like, sorry, if they just got sick of PJ's shit and were like, you know what, give us Doug McDaniel, and I'm the biggest Doug guy in the world. Mistake. Because if you just waited this out, you would have gotten PJ Haggerty back for $3 million. That's more than what Kansas State paid him. So I think there are mistakes made all around here. I think Memphis fumbled this, and acting like it's all PJ's fault they didn't get him back is probably not realistic. I think PJ's camp did something incredibly stupid here. And again, somehow, some way, Jerome Tang is like the only winner here. Jerome Tang just swapped out Doug for PJ, and that's objectively a huge upgrade.
PJ, I'm sorry, not PJ. Jerome Tang's gonna Jerome Tang. You got to give it to the guy.
Are we going to acknowledge the fact that you laying out, Jerome Tang might have underachieved a little bit with those pieces last year is kind of like saying, like, yeah, I mean, Ted Bundy wasn't exactly the nicest mannered guy.
Misunderstood. Yeah, no, it is a little bit. It is a little bit light on what exactly last season was, for Kansas State. I think Jerome Tang is lucky that he's still in a position to have a job.
It was a train wreck. And you're not kidding though. You like the vision for this Kansas State team?
I like it in like that one TV show that your wife watches that you like pass by and you like peek over the living room couch and like check it out every now and then. But like I'm not gonna make sure that I gotta sit down for every episode. I'm just gonna like kind of ask for updates along the way.
Okay. Yeah, like do the once every couple of weeks Wikipedia update and like, oh, I'll watch
Yeah,
an episode. Yeah.
yeah, I'll see what's going on. Oh, PJ and them were on. Yeah, I'll tap into that. And they got Marcus Johnson, the Bowling Green transfer,
Yeah.
the fat dude. Yeah, I'm in. That's my guy.
They have more fun guys than they do good guys, which was the problem last year as well.
That that's the crazy part to me. So last year we got all the fun guys. That didn't work. And Jerome Tang said, maybe that was just an anomaly. Let's fun guy again. Let's see. Let me find out for sure.
Yeah, it's such an interesting thought experiment here. But yeah, I mean, end of the day, it's an upgrade. I think he's an all Big 12 player almost immediately, first team guy. And honestly, it's gonna sound crazy. Looking at Kansas, you just let your in-state rival stumble their way forward for $2.5 million into the best shooting guard in the sport.
We're good.
Meanwhile, Kansas has missed on every target they've wanted.
We are at when I say Kansas, I'm saying we here so good.
Does Kansas even have money anymore? Like, looking at Baylor, how many mid-major guards did we add when you could have maybe just thrown 3 million to get PJ Haggerty?
I think there's a
Like,
reason why people aren't throwing that to get PJ Haggerty.
it ain't anything he does on the court. But if there are other reasons, I understand it because there are other reasons. But let's make it clear: 2.5 million for PJ Haggerty, given what some other players have gone for in this cycle, is a steal.
Yeah. Yes.
He
Yes.
was offered 3 mil and didn't take it, and you got him for 2.5. That's like just market price. They played the auction well here.
I think that says a lot.
Maybe I don't like it. Good luck,
Mm.
PJ. Good luck, Jerome Tang, I guess.